What's up, guys? I'm Trey Smith.
And I'm Bailey Smith.
And we are the owners of Recaptured Values. And you are watching Teach It Tuesday.
Hey everybody, today we're going to be going over leggings. And the best part about this is the pattern is free. There is 3 different versions of this pattern. So Patterns for Pirates has a petite peg leg pattern, which includes sizes preemie up to 12 months. And so that's the Patterns for Pirates petite pegs. And then you need to go to their sister site, because it's actually 2 sisters that own Patterns for Pirates. And then the owner's sister owns Made for Mermaids patterns. So Made for Mermaids has the girls version, so that would start at a half size up to 14. Half size I have found to be comparable to like 12 to 18 months. Just my opinion. And then the 1 is comparable to 18 to 24 months, and then it goes from 2 up to size 14. So that's Made for Mermaids, and those are called the Bonnie leggings, also free. And then for women's sizes, go back to Patterns for Pirates and grab the peg legs pattern. It goes from extra extra small, I believe, to 5X in women's. So got your leggings covered, and they're free. Super simple pattern. So let's get started. What you're going to need is your pattern. Today I'm just going to be using the smallest size. This is the Petite Pegs newborn size from Patterns for Pirates. We will link all of those patterns in the description below, so make sure you click the arrowhead. It's on the right hand side. Click it. All the links will pop out. Click those. Make sure you download these patterns. You will have to put them in your cart and check out, but you won't pay anything because they're free. Okay, so I'm going to be doing the newborn size petite pegs. This is what you get. It's 4 sheets of paper cut out for this particular pattern, and it is a waistband, a fabric waistband rather than elastic. I like that because it doesn't cut into the little chubby baby tummies. I like this pattern. Alright, you do have to do some hemming on the bottom, but for the most part what I'm going to do is use the serger on the seams, the construction seams, and I'm going to use my sewing machine on this. Anytime I use a serger, you can use a zigzag stitch on a sewing machine. If you do not have a serger, you can absolutely complete this pattern. So anytime you see me using a serged seam, if you don't have a serger, just use a zigzag stitch on a sewing machine. Alright, so let's get started. The first thing you have to do is you have to make a mirrored image of this, which means first thing you need to do is get some cute fabric. And this fabric was actually, I honestly don't even remember where this fabric is from, but I know they don't have it anymore because I was really upset. I think it may be from Serge Fabrics, possibly. But this is a French terry. It's not the best fabric for this because you typically need a 4-way stretch for leggings, but these are baby leggings, no big deal. But you're going to want a 4-way stretch for these to fit the best, especially if you're doing some mama leggings. If you use a fabric that's not 4-way stretch, you're going to try to pull them up and you're going to feel really embarrassed that you gained weight, but it's not that you gained weight, it's that you used the wrong fabric. So 4-way stretch fabric. This is not a 4-way stretch, but I'm going to use it because it's newborn. You can do that with the smaller sizes, but when it actually starts really mattering, if the fitting towards a body that's developing, use 4-way stretch. Okay, so this is French terry. To mirror an image, I have this is horizontal fabric, horizontal, these are called stripes, Bailey, horizontal stripes. So you're going to make sure that that's the most stretch going that way, that's the grain line. So once you figure that out, the pattern actually tells you where the grain line is, so you want your grain line to be going this way when you cut. But first, to make a mirrored image, this is what I'm going to do. I am going to fold this over, and with stripes, you're going to want to try to match up your stripes when you fold over. It's kind of impossible, but sometimes you just luck up and it's just heaven. Heaven's open and you get a perfectly good stripe matchup. It's just like, ah! Okay. So, that's what you do. You fold it over just enough so that your pattern piece fits. Just like this. But first, I like to go ahead, because typically the waistband measurement is right here on the actual pattern piece. And so this is the newborn size, and it tells me that I need to cut for my fabric waistband, I need to cut a 4-inch strip wide by 15.5 inches long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my ruler. I'm going to grab this one. This is the one I got from Hobby Lobby in the like drawing architect section. It's 1.5 inches wide. It's the first ruler that I could find that was 1.5 inches wide, and that's typically what I like to cut my bands at. But this one's 4 inches long, or 4 inches wide. So, all right, rotary cutter. Let's get started here. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut that out from my top here. And to do that, you're gonna want your stretch going this way, of course, just like the pattern piece. And so I'm just gonna cut the slack off this uneven part at the top here. I typically don't show this in the videos, but you're getting a treat today. This is a really quick sew. Alright, so I'm going to cut this part off and use this as the top. Now that I got a good even line there. And then I need it to be 4 inches. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to make sure all my points are matched up here. And I am just cutting, really just cutting. I'm going to cut it as big as my pattern piece. I'm going to waste a little bit of fabric doing it this way, but it's going to get me a really even cut later. So I'm going to open this up like this and then measure it and cut off what I don't need and then make a really cute pocket accent later. So 15.5, it would have been that much wasted. That would make a really cute pocket piece. If I make a tee to match this, that'd be a really cute pocket accent. Little extra piece there. Absolutely, you can fold it so you don't have that extra. But so that's that waistband piece right there. So we're going to sit this up here like this. Make sure that it's straight up and down. The back of this pattern is higher than the front, so pay attention to that. You're not going to want to try to line that up because then you're going to have your grain line all crazy. So you're going to want to line the pattern up. These lines, since I'm using a horizontal stripe fabric, these lines should be going with the horizontal stripes. I'm going to put my pattern waist down, and then I'm going to cut every side of this pattern. But first, if you've watched the videos, our videos, I like to apparently waste fabric, but I'm just really OCD and like straight cuts. I hate grabbing fabric and it being super jagged, and that's just personal. If you want to save fabric, you might not want to do it that way. But if you're someone like me and you care about how when you grab your fabric and it makes you happy, this is a really great way to do that. So cut around the pattern here. Cut around. Cutting around my pattern pieces here. Alright, so these are just scrap pieces. I'm going to throw them away. I used to save them, like pieces like that. I'll save pieces like this. But pieces like tiny scrap pieces like this, nah, I throw that away. Call me wasteful, whatever you want to call me. I just know that I can turn into a hoarder if I don't. So alright, so what you're going to do, then you're left with two mirrored images, which means they look like this. Cool. Alright, next part, super easy. We're going to go ahead and hem these. I like hemming these in the flat just because it gets a little tough, especially in the newborn size, to hem your bottom piece here. So I'm going to flip it up to 1/2 inch and then just hem it with a zigzag stitch. So give me just a second, we'll go to the sewing machine to hem these up. Alright, we're at the sewing machine and we're going to use zigzag stitch. Just a plain zigzag stitch, 5 widths, 2 lengths, and you're making sure that it's the bottom part here, the skinniest part, so don't try to hem the waist part here. Make sure you're doing the ankle part here. Okay, so I'm just gonna, you can press this up if you need to. I'm just going to eyeball it about 1/2 inch. And just zigzag stitch this and the back stitch it when I start, back stitch a little bit, and then go across as soon as I get this off. Okay, here we go. stitch, and then pull that off, and so then that's what you're left with there. Just a cute little hem. Okay, let's do this one again. Blah. Okay. Back stitch. Back stitch. Alright, and then there's the second hem. We're just going to go snip those. Okay, so we're back over here at this table, and we're just going to snip the little side pieces here. Little tiny threads, just to clean it up. Make it easier. Okay, so what you're going to do now, you're going to grab your piece like this, and you're going to fold it over like this. Okay? And so then, so this is the ankle part here that we folded up. And you are going to serge. You're going to do this with both pieces here first. Go ahead and do it just like this so you see what I'm doing. So we are going to, and see hopefully the heavens are going to open and I'm going to have a perfect stripe match here. So what I told you guys are catching it on video. Alright, so you're going to serge the inseam here, which is the ankle part, to the crotch. You're going to serge that, either zigzag stitch or serge, and then we will come back. Okay, at the serger, I like to put my settings. Let me see if you guys can see my settings. Maybe not. Settings right there. And then settings. Bloop, 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 bloop. Settings. Can you see them? Those are my settings. Hopefully you can see them. Okay. Alright. So, again, I am going to start with the ankle part here. And I am going to make sure that my stripes are somewhat matched up. And I'm going to put this underneath the knife here. I have my knife lifted all the way up, so it's really easy to, let me see if I can show you. And I am going to use, can you see that? I'm going to use a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Let me make sure I set this up right again. 1/4 inch seam allowance. Holy moly, come on guys. Alright, hopefully that stays up. 1/4 inch seam allowance, and I'm just going to go. First I'm going to show you a little trick. If you watch my videos, you've seen me do this before. So I'm going to go ahead and serge just enough so that the needle goes into the fabric and is then in an up position. Alright, so my needle's up. My fabric has been stabbed with the needle. And then I'm going to lift my presser foot up. And then I'm going to pull my strings here. My tail, I'm going to pull it and just kind of like grab it with my fingernails to pull it all the way tight. And then I'm going to wrap this around very gently, because if you pull too much, you can cause a little problem at the end there. And I'm pulling it underneath my knife so that when I go further, it's just going to cut it off. And that'll secure that seam there. I won't have to worry about that. Alright, so there we go. We have that. That's what it looks like. Okay, so we're doing the exact same thing with the other side here. Go just enough so that it's in my fabric and it's in the up position. Lift my presser foot, pull my strings tight here just to pull that slack out from the bottom there. And then pull it underneath my knife and go again. Put my presser foot down and go again. Alright, and so this is what it does. This is why you do that, and it automatically secures this seam here. It's not going to come undone. So, okay. So now what you're going to do, put you guys this way so you can see me. Okay, so now what you're going to do is one of these legs you're going to turn right side out. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So we've got one leg right side out, like this, and you've got one leg wrong side out. You are going to put the right side leg into the wrong side leg. So I'm just pulling the ankle out here. Okay, and then you're just gonna match up your crotch seam here. And match it up, and now one side should be higher and one side should be lower, and then you are just going to serge all the way along this crotch seam here. So all the way across to the other side, just like that. So let's get started. All right, and then I'm just gonna, since I'm using stripes, I'm just gonna make sure I start out with it lined up. 1/4 inch seam allowance again. And then that one, I'm not going to worry about having to finish off the seam because it's going to be finished off with the waistband, so I'm not worried about it. All right, just make sure that your crotch seams are lining up before you go over them. And then just make sure that your ending piece here is still matching up. Alright, and then you can flip them out. And there you have the bottom part without the waist. That's how the pants look right there. They're sitting a little wonky right now. Give me just a second to wiggle them. Alright, so that's what you're left with there, and now we just have to add the waistband. So what you're going to do with the waistband is we've already folded it this way. So here's the fold right here I'm holding, and then here's the raw edges. I'm going to then fold again because I like to do the hot hand method as I do with all my cuffs, which means I'm just going to fold it again this way. So now this is folded, and I have 4 raw edges right here together. I'm going to put this folded edge into my serger like this and serge them all together. Alright, so then this is what you get, and I'm going to go ahead and mark my ending points here. Sorry. I'm going to go ahead and hold this edge, the folded edge, and make 2 points here just so I can 1/4 this waistband onto my fabric. And then I'm going to open up this cuff. At least the cuff looks pretty. At least I got pretty good matchup from this. Here we go. So then you're going to match up your seam to the points you just did here, and then I like to go ahead and snip the side points. Boom and boom. Okay, and then I'm gonna go ahead and add the tag in this video. So unlike what I do with the bummies that I showed, we are now a fully compliant business, so that means we have to tag everything, and you need to be compliant if you're selling and or gifting. Even if you're gifting, you need to be compliant, which means tagging your stuff, making sure you know where it came from, all that stuff. And it's more than just tagging. You have to be a registered small batch manufacturer, all this good stuff. We'll link a group down below that will help you get to where you need to be and up to standards as far as that stuff goes. But for these, I like to fold my pants or put my pants inside out again, just because I found it the easiest application to just serge the tag into my seam. So I am going to apply the cuff on the inside rather than the outside like I typically would do. So I'm going to match up the back seam with the back, and remember, that's how you denote what the front and the back is the front is going to be a lower rise than the back to account for the booty in the back, so it's a higher rise in the back. Alright, so I'm going to pin. I'm just going to go around and pin my 4/4. Well, first I need to 1/4 my pants. Okay, so then to 1/4 your pants, you're going to match up your seams and then just snip here and here. Snip. Alright, so back to where we were. Match up your back seam. This is a total preference thing. I just like to put the back seam in the back, just to denote the back. Because if you're making for your own child and you don't have tags, again, you need tags if you're selling or gifting, but if you're just making for your own child, it's a good way to just put the seam on the back so that you know, or your spouse knows what's the back and what's the front, just because it makes it a little easier. Just going around pinning. One final pin here. Boom. Boom. Okay, so I'm going to start on the side here, and what I like to do is I like to just go ahead, put it under my knife here. You guys can see it, okay? Okay. So make sure all my 3 raw edges are matched up. Oh my goodness, my nose is itchy. Make sure all your raw edges are matched up, which are lined up on the edge. You have the 2 raw edges from the cuff and the 1 raw edge from the actual legging opening. So I'm just gonna go ahead and serge, making sure that we're getting all 3 of those layers. Remove your pins as you go. Pull any serger tails up so that they're cut off when you're attaching your cuff. And then when I get back to the back of it, that's when I will add my tag in. So just keep on watching. So this is the back seam here. And I'm just going to go until I get about right there. Pull my pin out. Straighten out my fabric so that it's laying flat. You're not overstretching it, just laying it flat. And so my tag is a fold-in tag, so I'm going to go ahead and fold it, or fold sew-in tag. I'm going to fold it, sit it how I want it to go. First, let me make sure that my seams are matching up still. Okay, they're still matching up. All right, and so then I'm just going to carefully place this in here, leaving about 1/4 inch above it. Just my preference. And then I'm just going to serge while holding this tag down so that it doesn't shift while I go underneath the serger. Alright, so that's sewn in there now. I'm going to go over where I started, pull it, do this, and then right here is the only place of this pattern that you technically have to tuck a tail. And so I'm just going to use this nitpicker here, pull it, go around the nitpicker, and then pull it through. And then there you go. Then you just cut the excess off. And these leggings are done. Super quick, super cute, and they are tagged now with our tag. And then I'll just write the size, of course, and then I'll just write my batch number in here. And that is how you sew up leggings. Super cute leggings. Hope you guys like this video. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe, all of the above. We'll put out another video next Tuesday, so be watching for that. And we're so glad that you guys watched this video. Have a great time making it. Bye.